My name is Eric, for those of you who haven't remembered yet. Now I have a question for all of you. Has there ever been a moment where someone asks you if something's wrong, and you know good and well that something is wrong, but you just don't want to talk about it? Well, as it turns out, that seems to be a common pattern within all of us as people. We seem to be going through some adversity, but we tell everyone we're just fine. For example, according to the National Institutes of Health, around two-thirds of all cases of depression are undiagnosed. This means that someone like your mom, your dad, your best friend, or even one of us be going through something, we just wouldn't even know it. For about most of my life until about a year ago, you would never see me with anything but a smile on my face. And about until like 2 years ago, that's when I finally started to show the real me. The side that isn't always happy and isn't so joyful. Looking back, it was probably one of the worst periods of my life so far. It's crazy to me that I actually managed to convince people that I was actually fine. Fine. Although we all deal with our emotions in our own respective ways, those who suffer the most or deal with the worst are the ones we don't hear about. What I'm about to tell you is two stories of someone suffering but deciding to keep it to themselves. First is Aesop's fable, The Oxen and the Axle Trees. And next is my own personal story, which is a little more real. But first, onto Aesop's fable. Now, I've never heard of this story personally, so I'm going to assume that most of y'all haven't either. As retold by Aesop website, accessed on September 4th, 2021, Aesop tells of a heavy wagon being dragged by oxen. And as this wagon is being dragged, the axle trees, or the wheels, if you prefer to call it that, are groaning and squeaking horribly. The oxen overhears it, turns around and says, "Why do you complain so much? I'm the one bearing all the weight. If anyone should be complaining, it should be me." So pretty much, he doesn't complain about it, even though he has every reason to. Why? Could be because he's tougher. Maybe he doesn't think it'll do anything for him. Either way, he's the one suffering, but not saying anything about it or complaining. And now for me, for most of my life, like I said, I was never one to open up. Now it seems to be a guy thing in general, to be honest. But for me, it seemed to be putting myself in danger and my own safety. A little over a year ago, I was severely depressed. In fact, I was so much depressed, thought of me taking my own life was very much there, tempting me, which I also didn't talk about. Not even to someone like my therapist or someone like that who needed to know these things. Why didn't I open up? I'm gonna be honest, I don't know. I can't tell you even now, even though it's so obvious I needed to do so. Now, I eventually did get the help, but it felt very out of nature for me. Obviously, my story took a far different route than Aesop's, but they both have a common factor. Those who suffer horribly for the most, you don't hear about. And like I said, people tend to hide when they're down. We just don't like talking about it. It's just in our nature. Any one of us could be going through the worst period of our life right now, and we wouldn't have a single clue. How this affects us is an entirely different discussion, but the point is, those who suffer the most cry out the least. Any questions?